A scratch on any of the three of us, so we're lucky. We're very blessed.
Hope in the midst of despair. The small kindness making a big difference for mid-state tornado survivors.
Beyond the neon lights of Music City, a dark side of Nashville.
And just to be clear, you had one drink.
One.
One cocktail.
Correct. Just one, all of us.
Why some victims say city leaders are not doing enough to battle Nashville's roofie problem. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News at 9, we start tonight in a Code Red weather alert. Things right now, as you can see, looking calm over Nashville, but won't be that case tomorrow. It's not even been a week now since 5 tornadoes touched down here in the mid-state.
And while the threat we're looking at this week is different, you still need to be prepared. Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan here with the timing and the biggest threats for what is coming not today but tomorrow.
Tomorrow, it looks like we are going to be looking at a couple strong thunderstorms. I want to stress it will not be like what we had on Wednesday of last week, but it is still something we need to be aware of as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Timing does look to be between 12 noon and about 5 p.m. And it looks like this time around, wind and hail will be the primary concerns. I don't see a big tornado threat this go around here. And because of all of the rain that we continue to see, spot flooding will be possible for us here. We've had a ton of rainfall. A lot of places have been dealing with flooding. And with that, any additional rain that we continue to see on soggy ground may be a concern for us here. We take a look at your outlook for tomorrow. Again, it's a level 1 out of 5 threat. Last Wednesday, we were in a 4 out of 5 threat. But a threat is still a threat, so we want to make sure that, again, you are prepared at least for the possibility of some severe thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon. Things remain fairly quiet here. You can see much more activity to our south and to our north and to our west, kind of all around us here. It's been kind of a gloomy day, mainly cloudy skies for much of the day with some of these scattered showers. This evening, we'll look at a couple showers possible for us, but you can see from our Metro Center camera that we are quiet for the meantime. Temperature overnight right around 66 degrees. We're at 62 in Murfreesboro as well as Clarksville. We'll talk more about the timing. We're going to walk you through future track. That all coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Well, continuing coverage of the deadly destruction from Wednesday's storm. We know it damaged 245 homes as an EF3 carved a path right through Maury County, leading to that tornado emergency. Maury County schools will remain closed tomorrow. And here, this is downtown Columbia on the map. The Salvation Army has set up with food and resources for residents. They're off Randolph Howell Elementary School. That's up here in this area. And that is Interstate 65 that runs east over much of the heavy tornado damage, which is down in this area here. This is the neighborhood where Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller is tonight with one family's story of survival.
We are in the backyard of a home off of Newt Hood Road in Columbia, and people are calling their neighborhood a war zone. You can see that right next to me with the roots of a massive tree that got knocked down by the tornado. Now, as we make our way to the neighbor's backyard, you can see that the shop in their yard is destroyed, structure pieces all over the place. We have branches down, trees, and other debris as people are trying to recover from this devastating storm.
Am I happy that the house is a mess? No, but when you've been through one, you're just grateful for it turning out like it did.
Grateful to be alive. That's how Jeff Cromer is feeling and several of his neighbors after surviving last week's tornado in Columbia.
Not a scratch on any of the three of us, so sorry. We're lucky. We're very blessed.
Cromer says he was home with his wife and 8-year-old granddaughter. They took cover in the bathroom.
Something big was flying towards the house. I jumped on the floor. Then it was loud, a lot of noise and everything, and then it was over.
Cromer believes it was this trampoline that hit and smashed the window in the room right next to where they took cover.
Right now, these people here are going through some really terrible things.
When we arrived at Cromer's home, volunteers like David Bird from Tennessee Baptist Disaster Relief Team were there to help with the cleanup process. Bird says today he's assessing the damage with Cromer.
We do have equipment. We take care of all this right here, we clean it up, and we take it down to the end of the driveway.
And then Bird explains they will bring the machinery to Cromer's property and help clean up the trees and debris.
I'm grateful.
A team effort that will help families like the Cromers overcome the unimaginable.
There's a lot of destruction out here in Columbia and a lot to be rebuilt, like this pool right behind me. But Cromer says at the end of the day, he's just so grateful that his family's okay, and so are his neighbors. Reporting from Columbia, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage tonight on the impact of last week's deadly severe weather. The cleanup is well underway in our hardest hit counties, and some of our viewers are asking, how can we help the survivors? Joining us now, hopefully with an answer on that, Deborah Alexander Fisher from the Red Cross. Before we get going, let me thank you and your colleagues for everything you do, not only on this disaster, but every time rushing in to help these people. What's the biggest need right now for storm survivors in terms of how our viewers can help you help them?
You can call 1-800-RED Cross, or you can go online to redcross.org and make your donation. And in the box, you can put Tennessee disaster or Tennessee floods.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, and when people give you that cash, I know you can turn it into whatever you need. What's the Red Cross providing in these hard-hit communities like Murray County right now?
We're working with our community partners with feeding. We also provide, we don't have any shelters open right now, and that's a really good thing. But that gives us the funding to be able to feed, to be able to house, to give them their immediate needs. You just never know that contact lens solution is so important, or diapers.
Just so people understand, I think sometimes when people say, oh, the Red Cross is helping out, they think somehow this is a pseudo-governmental agency, and in some way the full force of the federal government, including its pocketbook, is involved, but I know that's not the case.
No, it is not the case. We are 100% nonprofit, and 98% of all your donations go to help victims that are impacted by the disasters. Like we would be helping the people in the Tennessee disasters.
This is great information. Deborah Alexander Fisher, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what the Red Cross is doing. And if our viewers want to help, a donation directly to the Red Cross is the way. Again, thank you so much.
Yes, we don't have time. We don't have any place to put clothes or anything of that nature. So the biggest way you can help is from your donations, and we appreciate them.
You bet. Thank you again. And to help us tell the weather story, please send your pictures and video from the tornado outbreak and the flooding as well. Just go to our website, fox17.com, and then search Chime In.
Continuing coverage tonight as Rutherford County students and school staff dressing in blue and green to support a 10-year-old boy swept away by fast-moving water. Asher Sullivan, the son of Rutherford County Director of Schools, Dr. Jimmy Sullivan. As Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker shows us, since last week's tragic incident, the community continues to rally around that little boy.
From neighbors to sports teams and schools, the community is really rallying together in support of Asher Sullivan while he's being monitored closely by doctors here in Nashville and surrounded by family. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Hand in hand in a heartbreaking social media post, Jimmy Sullivan shared his son's recovery, quote, does not seem possible, adding that his family will soon need to make some impossible decisions that no parent should have to face. Vanderbilt head baseball coach Tim Corbin inviting Declan Sullivan into the dugout on Sunday for Vanderbilt baseball versus Tennessee. This as Declan's brother fights for his life.
Sports sometimes can bring relief to families and people in times of need.
Asher's dad posting on X, formerly Twitter, that Coach Corbin was unbelievable during Declan's own battle with cancer, doing even more for the family during this tragedy, and checking on Asher every single day. That support also extended into Smyrna over the weekend in a community scrimmage for the young boy on Saturday.
I'm glad you were here to play.
With Rutherford County families sending prayers in hopes of a miracle.
We believe in a miracle working God, and with God all things are possible.
I'm a mother. I have kids. I can't imagine the anguish.
In the latest update from Asher's father, the family continues to ask for prayers. And after a scare early this morning, Asher Sullivan's father, Jimmy Sullivan, posted another update tonight. Now, he does say that blood pressure has been an issue and things seem to get worse at night, so keep the prayers coming. We, of course, will be watching his social media platforms closely and we'll let you guys know how the process is going. For now, reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Just ahead, the dark side of Nashville's neon, why roofie victims say city leaders need to do more to protect people.
And a 5-star interior.
I don't think so.
Okay. I thought it was a good idea.
Visit your Volkswagen dealer today and lease the sporty 2024 Jetta S for just $199 a month.
Fox 17 News investigates reports of people being drugged downtown. It is the dark side of Nashville's neon lights.
Well, we've been on the case for months, and tonight Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin sits down with survivors who say they feel dismissed.
Imagine waking up and you don't remember anything that happened the night before. You had maybe one drink and think to yourself, what happened? But you can't seem to get any answers. It's a pattern of stories that keep leading to follow-ups, receiving messages from people who want to share their stories with me. While it's not a conversation they want to have, they hope it brings about more awareness and accountability.
Woman after woman breaking their silence, sharing a story that's hard for them to relive, fearing they'll be seen as just another drunk person in Nashville. But these women don't feel that's the case with their stories. Tisha Savage believes someone drugged her drink.
We hadn't had any drinks prior to arriving to that establishment, so that's kind of what we did. Just we're going in just to hang out and catch up with an old friend of ours that we ran into.
And just to be clear, you had one drink?
One.
One cocktail?
Correct, just one, all of us. I would say within like 20 to 30 minutes, I didn't feel good at all. My friends as well kept asking, like, we don't, like, what's going on? I don't feel well.
That's when emergency responders arrived.
I felt as if we were roofied or drugged from our alcohol and from what we ordered off of one cocktail. I said flat out, I showed them the photos and video. I showed them the text messages of me texting other bartenders and general managers in the area, being like, hey, this doesn't look right. I showed them all of that and they just did not want to listen to what we had to say.
Savage wanted to go to the hospital, get a test, and file a police report. But she says officers didn't let her and gave her no reason why.
For me, in the moment, it was very scary. I was worried about their safety as well. And then obviously just with the situation, how it was handled of us not being allowed to go to the hospital or not being able to get that police report, that was scary for me.
I called Metro Police to ask about the incident. The only information they could give me was the call made that night, since there was no police report. I also put in a request for body camera footage, but there was none from that night. It's a similar story for Skylar Sullivan of Nashville. She also believes someone put something in her drink at a bar downtown, but didn't feel the symptoms until she got home.
I was in bed, about to go to sleep, and then I just got extremely nauseous. I just laid on the ground for a bit, but I hit the ground pretty hard and I had bruises on my back for a while.
She thought about getting a test, but told me she felt like these incidents are often brushed off.
I was worried that it wouldn't be in my system anymore, I was gonna potentially say something, but I feel like they wouldn't believe me.
So what's the city doing to protect people who may have been drugged? We contacted the 4 area hospitals to see if their policies have changed. First, we contacted Vanderbilt Medical Center. Their policies have not changed. They say there's limited testing without a police report. Next, we contacted General Hospital. Their policy remains the same. They give tests at the provider's discretion. For the first time, we're also getting a response from Ascension St. Thomas. They say they provide support and the necessary treatment. Now, we did also reach out to TriStar. They have not given us any response after several attempts. But lawmakers hope a new state law signed by Governor Bill Lee will help prevent these incidents from happening. Democratic House Representative Bob Freeman sponsored this bill, which will now require every establishment that serves alcohol to have a training curriculum to recognize signs a person may be drugged.
People come to Nashville because they view it as a safe, fun place to go and have a good time. Nobody deserves to be given a date rape drug. Nobody deserves to be raped. And if people don't feel safe, they're going to stop coming here.
There's the Safe Bar program, a bystander intervention training program that also provides those participating bars with drug detecting coasters. For several years, we've reported that only 3 bars in the Broadway area were a part of the Safe Bar program. But within the past few months, these Broadway bars became certified. Benton McDonough is Nashville's night mayor. Do you feel that there should be other initiatives to help alleviate this date rape problem?
I know from speaking with the Sexual Assault Center, they think that what we're doing right now is being proactive and trying to basically head off any sort of issue that you see in a lot of big cities now.
And while Sullivan and Savage feel there's a stigma around speaking up, they hope their stories will help spark more change. The Sexual Assault Center has a safe clinic open 24/7 for those who want to get a sexual assault exam. But the exam must be done within 120 hours of the assault. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And we're in a Code Red alert this evening for the potential for a couple strong thunderstorms as we head through the day tomorrow. Now, there are a couple limiting factors for tomorrow, but the potential at least will be there. And so we want to make sure that you're staying alert. This is a look at our severe outlook index for tomorrow. Again, it's a green or level 1 threat. And what that means is that we are looking at a few strong thunderstorms as we head through the afternoon hours tomorrow. So again, isolated pockets of showers and thunderstorms. Now through the morning hours tomorrow, we will actually be looking at a pretty decent amount of rainfall. In fact, you can see the shower chances here go up quite a bit for the morning commute. So it will be a pretty messy go of it for tomorrow morning. I don't expect severe weather here though. So with showers going on in the morning hours and mostly cloudy skies for much of the day, that's going to be a lot for the atmosphere to overcome to get some of these showers and thunderstorms to become strong to severe. It's possible. So again, wind and hail to be the primary threats there, and that's what we want to look for. Timing takes us from the late morning into the afternoon hours. That should taper off as we head into the evening. Wind, hail, flooding, all the main threats going here forward as we get into tomorrow afternoon. A tornado threat does not look to be on the table for tomorrow. This again will be more of a damaging wind event for us. Here's a look at future track as we take you through tonight and into tomorrow morning. Notice by 4 a.m. I mentioned some of those showers that'll be around for the morning commute. Pockets of heavy rain will definitely slow you down. But again, I don't expect severe weather for the early morning hours, but could hear a few rumbles of thunder. So keep that in mind. As we go through the late morning, you can see a few showers around. If we can see a little bit of clearing and some redevelopment, this would be what we see as we head towards the afternoon. This is after lunchtime. Notice about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, pockets of moderate to heavy rainfall. These would also need to be monitored for severe potential as well. And then later in the afternoon, we're looking at a few more of these showers and storms that may be on the strong side. Notice that begins to shift east of I-65 and remains pretty scattered as we head through the early evening hours. So I would say by about 6 p.m. or so, we're generally looking at things to quiet down. And notice by 8, 9, 10 p.m. we're starting to see things clear out completely. We go through Wednesday morning. We'll start off with a mostly cloudy sky, but going into the afternoon, the potential for more showers and storms will be with us. Fortunately, though, I don't see severe weather on Wednesday being a big issue for us here. Now, normally, as far as rainfall goes, 1 inch of rain really wouldn't cause any problems for us, but because we've got some pretty saturated ground and still some areas that are draining from last week, 1 inch, a half inch to 1 inch of rain could create some spot flooding in certain areas, so keep that in mind as well. Coming up, we'll talk more about the week ahead. We've got more showers and storms on the way. We will map them out for you, all coming up.
Also ahead, Donald Trump's former fixer testifies against the ex-president. What Michael Cohen is revealing.
Only about 10 minutes. You can expect to be back to full activities rapidly. Come see us at Loden Vision Centers because we're going to help you get the vision that you deserve.
New tonight, former President Donald Trump and his former attorney and fixer come face to face in a New York courtroom.
Well, Michael Cohen, the prosecution's star witness, testifying against his former boss in the hush money criminal trial. Cohen told jurors the former president asked him several times to stifle stories about an alleged sexual encounter with Stormy Daniels. Cohen said he made payments on Trump's behalf to keep women quiet and was reimbursed. He claims the reimbursements were designed to look like payments for future legal services. The former president says he's innocent.
Continuing coverage now on the disappearance and subsequent death of college student Riley Strain. People here in Nashville and nationwide are now working in an effort to make Music City a safer place for visitors. Surveillance video shows Strain staggering, along Church Street downtown alone, colliding with a light pole at one point after leaving a downtown bar. He later ended up here on the Cumberland River, his body found 2 weeks later. Tomorrow on Fox 17 News at 9, the simple fixes some say would make sure no one is left alone like this and vulnerable.
Nashville's most famous detective went to Washington with on this property or selling your property at auction. Go to NashvilleAuctions.com.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture. Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Well, it's a mid-state mystery getting national attention. Lauren Agee died under strange circumstances at Center Hill Lake almost a decade ago.
Well, strange case to be sure. And this week, nationally known detective Sheila Wysocki, Agee's family and other victims' families are together in Washington fighting for more rights. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier has the story in tonight's Ferrier Files.
It seems like Congress is always in gridlock. But can you get something done for victims? Nashville's most famous detective went to Washington with at least hope.
When the FBI closed the Lauren Agee case, this after the DeKalb County Sheriff's Department called her death accidental, that she somehow defied the laws of physics and gravity and fell into Center Hill Lake. Her mom, Sherry Smith, was disappointed. It would not be the end of her disappointment. Private investigator Sheila Wysocki.
The FBI looked at the case. Sherry Smith sent the FBI a FOIA request, which is a Freedom of Information. They sent back a letter saying it will be 79 months before you're gonna get these files. She'll wait 7 years. So she said, go ahead. And then she got a letter saying it'll be $500.
This has absolutely rubbed all victims' rights groups the wrong way. If you close the case, if you're finished with it, why not just turn it over?
Whose interests are they looking out for with those rules?
That's a great question. Who are they looking out for? It's not the victim's family. It's not the community. The community wants to know too. It is somebody who doesn't want that information out there. That's the cold, hard facts.
And so Sheila Wysocki brought victims from 4 different states. Remember, she is a nationally known detective. People who have suffered unsolved cases and botched justice. And then this group met with Congress members and U.S. senators to tell their story. Not only does the FBI hold files too long, they say, but homicide victims just don't have enough rights. The killers have plenty, but the victims? Wysocki says Congressman Scott DeJarlais has agreed to help, that his office will look at rewriting the Homicide Victims' Rights Bill to make sure it actually does what it promises to do, and even more. Not the only good news. The family says Congressman Mark Green has agreed to look into the family's complaint about FBI policy. That alone made it worth the trip for Lauren Agee's parents. We were hoping to discover what, if anything, Congressman Green discovers, but a spokesman says, unfortunately, this can't happen. Quote, Representative Mark Green's office does everything in its power to help constituents that come to us for casework help with the federal government. We cannot discuss individual casework with the press. We also cannot get involved in legal matters, unquote. Wysocki says it's worth this difficult and expensive trip. that while Washington is full of lobbyists and special interests, she wants to advocate for ordinary people. You can call it lobbying or just call it doing the right thing.
Someone who has a death in their family that is suspicious, treat him with respect. They've gone through the proper channels, done everything properly, and we're at our last stage of what is proper. We're asking them hat in hand. We're not there to berate, to accuse. We're asking for help.
We'll stay in touch with Wysocki and the AG family to see if they get any traction with the Homicide Victims Act or the releasing of the FBI file in a more timely fashion. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
And our Code Red alert again, tracking the potential for a few showers and storms tomorrow afternoon mainly and into the early evening. And this one will be a smaller threat, nowhere near what we had last Wednesday. By the way, we were just sifting through some more data from the Weather Service down in Hopkinsville. They continue to go through tornado reports, and it looks like just in the past hour they have confirmed yet another tornado in Lincoln County. I'll have a map for you coming up where these tornadoes were, but that puts our count here in Middle Tennessee at 7-3. Alone in Lincoln County. Now going into tomorrow, again, we are looking at mainly rain for the morning hours, but some of it could be intense for the morning commute. This is Clarksville, and notice from about 4 till we'll say about 9 a.m. some intense rain will be possible. That goes for Nashville as well, about 5 till about 10. And for folks in Crossville, a little bit later, closer to 6, maybe to about 10, 11 a.m. Then we get into the afternoon. This would be the time frame that we're looking at any severe potential. Notice, though, that the amount of rain at this specific location comes down quite a bit. So while we could find a few intense thunderstorms, they're not going to be as widespread than what we may see in the morning hours with scattered showers. Great reminder, whip out your phone now. Make sure you have your QR code, scan it here with your phone. This is a link to our app, and it is free for your phone. You got to make sure you have your ways to stay alert during severe weather season and really in the off season as well. And in fact, as we get into the summer months, hurricane season will be upon us. And while we're not impacted directly from hurricanes, we can see some indirect impacts, and you can track those hurricanes on the app as well. We'll talk more about rain for the rest of the week coming up.
New polling has the former president out.
Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Fox 17 News Code Red Weather.
Your first line of defense when severe weather threatens.
In politics tonight, new polls show former President Donald Trump leading President Biden in multiple key battleground states.
Well, Fox 17 News' Matt Galka shows us the former president is making inroads with some traditionally Democratic voters. By the way, you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen.
The former president touted his poll numbers on his way into a New York courtroom Monday.
The New York Times just came out with a poll. It shows us leading everywhere by a lot.
He has reason to be optimistic, according to the latest Siena New York Times polling. Trump leads in 5 of 6 battleground states, including Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Georgia, and Nevada. President Joe Biden was leading in Wisconsin.
We are going to officially play in the state of New Jersey. We're going to win the state of New Jersey.
At a rally in New Jersey over the weekend, the former president said traditional Democratic strongholds will be winnable this November. Polling suggests Trump and Biden are tied with Hispanic voters with 31% support for each candidate. The group broke for Biden at more than 60% in 2020 and helped propel him to a presidential win. 40,000 people dead. The president could have a problem with young voters, too. The latest polling found 13% of Biden voters in 2020 who don't plan on voting for him in 2024 cite the war in Gaza and foreign policy as their #1 issue.
He has handled everything with Israel and Palestine terribly.
Almost 80% of 18 to 29-year-olds surveyed say there needed to be major economic changes or the system needed tearing down entirely, with Trump getting much more support in the poll as the candidate who would shake up the system. Still, a lot can change in 6 months.
This was a weird poll, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. If you're in the Biden campaign, you're concerned but not alarmed. If you're in the Trump campaign, you are encouraged, but you're not popping champagne corks just yet.
The poll also showed that black voter support might be softening for Joe Biden while Donald Trump is making gains. Later this week, the president will have multiple events catering to black audiences to try and shore up the support that helped him win in 2020. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
During that story, we had a QR code linking you to a poll asking if the election were held today, for whom would you vote? 73% say Donald Trump, 12.4% say Joe Biden, 14.5% say other. Our thanks to all who took time to vote.
Well, Nashville nightlife fighting back against the city. The battle over transportainment.
And coming up, we'll talk more about...
Come see us at Loden Vision Centers because we're going to help you get the vision that you deserve.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Ponce Law.
New tonight, downtown Nashville is the heartbeat of Music City. It is a growing place where people live, work, and party.
Well, that shared space is creating conflict when it comes to noise and traffic. And now the party bus and transportainment industry feels targeted by new restrictions.
As the music spills out into the busy streets, the bright lights and neon signs let you know that you have arrived. High-rise hotels and penthouses have populated the surrounding streets. For some, they settle into their corner office 9-to-5 jobs, surrounded by the busy bustle of downtown. Others immerse themselves into the electric buzz of Broadway to make their living. This intersection of versatility is the dividing crux of conflict when it comes to traffic and noise complaints. City leaders voted to add new rules and restrictions banning party buses, pedal taverns, tractors, tourism, and transportainment vehicles from operating downtown between the peak hours of 4 to 6 p.m. on weekdays, instead rerouting them to less busy side streets during that time. It did not go over well within the industry.
If 4 to 6 is a problem, let's open less hotels, let's close the bars from 4 to 6, let's all take a siesta if traffic is a problem. I don't think you can pin it on one industry. So us operating from 4 to 6, whether it's downtown core or outside downtown core, if you look at traffic flows from 2019 all the way to now, the data does not support the fact that we are a problem when traffic is moving at 12 miles an hour, according to the 2019 study, if my data is correct.
While party bus companies think this restriction could be enough to put them out of business, the Transportation and Licensing Commission says it wants to come to a compromise.
You appreciate we are trying to work it out. We're just not trying to put a bunch of no-go stamps on everything. We want it to work for everybody.
Well, we'd like to know what you think. Should party buses and transportainment vehicles be allowed to operate during Nashville in the rush hour? You see the poll is up, and we've got 650 or so people weighing in. The overwhelming majority, 79.9%, say no. The poll's live right now. To cast your vote, scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen, and we will show updated results in our 10 o'clock newscast.
Our Code Red Alert continues here for tomorrow, again tracking the potential for a few strong thunderstorms. I want to update you though on a new tornado that was just confirmed by the National Weather Service out of Huntsville, so I'm going to bring that map up here. So these are the tornado reports from last Wednesday, early Thursday morning, and of course we know about Robertson County, Murray County, Rutherford County, and Giles County, and now we have 3 separate tornadoes that have been confirmed by the National Weather Service in Huntsville. So that puts all of them EF1, by the way. So that puts our total count at 7 for the day, or for the event, I should say, for the 8th, 9th. For the year now, we're up to 9 tornadoes. Now remember, last Monday, a week ago, we had 2 tornadoes and added 7 on the 8th and into the early hours of the 9th. So we went in 3 days from 0 tornadoes for 2024, which was pretty shocking, to 9 just in 3 days' time. And the fact that we hadn't had any tornadoes confirmed all the way through May was pretty remarkable. But unfortunately now we've had 9 in just 3 days' time. from the 6th through the 8th. Now, I mentioned tomorrow the chance for a few strong thunderstorms. Again, tornadoes do not look to be something we need to be concerned with tomorrow. It'll be more so wind and rain for tomorrow too. We do have some decent rain chances here tomorrow, one of our better chances, and I do think it'll be our best chance for severe weather for this week. Wednesday showers will be around. We do get a break on Thursday with more scattered rain possible Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the forecast tomorrow, 7 a.m. here from Nashville, Clarksville, and Crossville here. Scattered showers, few rumbles of thunder will be possible, but severe weather not going to be an issue for us in the early morning hours. The severe threat comes a little later after lunchtime. So let's walk you through what's going on here. This is 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms all ahead of this next system that'll be pushing in. Afternoon, this front will come a little bit closer to us, and this will help give us some lift for any stronger thunderstorms here. But we'll continue to at least find rain all the way through Tuesday night into early Wednesday. We see some showers on the backside, non-severe for Wednesday, and then a nice break for Thursday. Before Thursday night into Friday, we've got more showers and storms that are starting to march in. So pretty active week ahead here as we take a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll be looking at temperatures to remain in the 70s to low 80s. Again, we do get that one dry day on Thursday with more showers and storms moving in by the weekend.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by U.S. Pest Protection. This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
In tonight's Spotlight on America, a poll that shows half of Americans report measurable levels of loneliness.
Well, the U.S. Surgeon General calls it a public health crisis. And tonight, our Angie Moreski goes in depth to find out why we're seeing so many disconnected people.
There we go! Go!
Social sports.
You have to go! You have to go!
Like this Volo Kickball League in Washington, D.C. can be a lifeline for people feeling isolated in today's society.
Have you experienced loneliness?
I have.
Lindsay Cohen and Kaylee Ann Schwartz joined the league to recapture some of the social connection they lost during the pandemic.
I feel like I know a lot of lonely people and a lot of people still searching for community.
I think COVID really did a number on our generation.
I worry that we have become a lonely and disconnected nation.
The U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health crisis last year, saying 1 out of 2 Americans report measurable loneliness and calling the health impact devastating. Not only increasing the risk for depression and anxiety, but also heart disease, stroke, dementia, and even premature death.
I think we are absolutely at risk.
Psychologist and Harvard professor Dr. Rick Weisbord led a 2021 survey that found young people had the highest levels of loneliness, with nearly 2/3 of young adults 18 to 25 and more than half of mothers with young children reporting serious loneliness. Weisbord says multiple factors are to blame, including remote work and social media, which can make it harder to create true relationships.
I think in a number of ways, in-person interactions tend to be, more connecting and more fulfilling.
Multiple studies show the COVID pandemic contributed to loneliness, but it was already well underway, with the amount of time young people spent in person with friends declining by nearly 60% from 2003 to 2019.
Did you feel like you hit rock bottom?
Oh, 100%.
As a new mom, just divorced and working remotely during the pandemic, Myra Darris thought she was staying connected.
There'd be the Facebook groups or messaging, and I was like, oh, I have a community, but not really. It was very superficial when you have these social media friendships or communities.
She started experiencing debilitating loneliness, which included depression, even blackouts in time.
I wasn't leaving the bed.
Myra ended up taking short-term disability and got help through therapy.
And I realized, oh, we do need people. We do need a community. I need to get to know my neighbors.
When you're feeling lonely, Dr. Weisbord says that's precisely the time you should try to get out and meet with people, because loneliness can feed on itself and start to spiral. So making an intentional effort to get out and see people in person can be one of the best ways to beat the cycle of loneliness. For Spotlight on America, I'm Angie Moreski.
Well, honoring some local heroes. Why these Nashville
to a rental car, but the at-fault insurance company won't offer it. We've been fighting these companies for over 50 years. Let us fight for you. Call us at 615-242-9000.
Well, it's National Police Week, and some local heroes are being honored for their bravery.
Metro police officers credited with taking out the Covenant school shooter last year, receiving recognition this time at the nation's capital. Detective Michael Colazzo, Sergeant Jeff Mathis, Officer Rex Engelbert, Detective Zach Plessy, and Detective Ryan Cagle all received the 2024 Top Cop Award. Happened over the weekend in D.C. You see them all together, being honored for their selfless service and sacrifice, putting their lives literally on the line to take down an active school shooter in Green Hills last March.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News at 10. We start tonight with a code red weather alert as a few strong storms could pop up tomorrow.
Now, to be clear, the risk is not anywhere near what we saw last week, just so you understand. At the same time, you still need to know it's coming and be prepared. Fox 17 Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan in studio with everything we need to know. If there was a baton, I would pass it.
Thank you, and I would take it, and then we would move forward. Yeah, this one isn't going to be, thankfully, it will not be what we had last Wednesday. Remember, we were in a 4 out of 5 threat for last Wednesday. This is a 1 out of 5. And again, that's on the lower spectrum. But still, it's a risk. And so we want to make sure that you're staying alert. And that's why we are in our alert mode as we head through the day on Tuesday. We'll zoom in and you can see that all of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky under that threat for a couple strong thunderstorms here. Stray strong thunderstorms with damaging wind and hail as the primary threats here. Can't rule out some spot flooding as we head through the day as well, given the fact that the ground's pretty wet still from last week. Now we'll zoom out wide and you can see we've got quite a bit of activity going on to our south. This has really been the focus for today throughout portions of Texas, Louisiana, and into the panhandle of Florida here going into the evening hours. But we will be watching this system here march our way, and it will bring us those showers by tomorrow morning. There will be some rain for your morning commute. It is not going to be severe, though, for tomorrow morning. What we're mainly focused on for severe weather will come between noon at about 6 p.m. Still things fairly quiet on radar this evening here. It's been kind of a gloomy day. Temperatures, though, stay mild with the cloud cover hanging around that's helping to trap in all the heat from this afternoon. We'll talk more about the timing, walking you through future track with these showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow. That's coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Scott.
Katie, thank you. Continuing coverage now on the deadly destruction as we are getting our first real look at the hardest hit areas from the tornadoes last week. A deadly EF3 tornado cut across Maury County, killing a woman. Police have now loosened restrictions, allowing Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller to show us some of the damage you haven't seen.
Families from Columbia are recovering from last week's tornado. We spoke with the homeowner, Jeff Cromer, and he says it was this trampoline over here that has a satellite dish. He believes that's what went through this window while they were hiding and taking cover in the bathroom right next to them. He said it was such a loud noise, but he's so grateful that it didn't go through that window where his family was.
Jeff Cromer says he was home with his wife and 8-year-old granddaughter when the tornado hit. They took cover in their bathroom and thankfully were not injured. But there's a lot to be done to clean up his property. Volunteers like David Bird from Tennessee Baptist Disaster Relief Team were there to help with the cleanup process.
My job today is recessing the property to see how much we got, how much damage is done. Then I go in and I turn this paperwork in, and then we have chainsaw crews that will come out here and cut the trees up. Then we got machinery, heavy machinery come in and pick it up and take it to the street.
Cromer says he's so grateful for their help and says the community as a whole has been so supportive throughout this process.
There's a lot of destruction out here in Columbia and a lot to be rebuilt, like this pool right behind me. But Cromer says at the end of the day, he's just so grateful that his family's okay, and so are his neighbors. Reporting from Columbia, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage on the Rutherford County 10-year-old swept into a storm drain by fast-moving water. Asher Sullivan's father, Jimmy Sullivan, sharing some heartbreaking news on social media with a picture of the family holding his hand. Sullivan's post says, "This morning, doctors told the family Asher was no longer breathing on his own. But later in the day, doctors did see eye movement. The family now waiting, praying for a miracle." And Vanderbilt head baseball coach Tim Corbin also giving back to the family. He invited Asher's brother to watch a game in the team's dugout.
Sports sometimes can bring relief to families and people in times of need, and this is just one of those times.
Well, Rutherford County schools showing their support for Asher by wearing blue and green, his favorite colors. You can see all of the viewer-submitted photos and videos from the storms, and you can submit your own on our website. Just go to fox17.com and click Chime In.
Continuing coverage now on the disappearance and subsequent death of college student Riley Strain downtown. People in Nashville and nationwide are now working to make Music City a safer place. Surveillance video shows Strain staggering, along Church Street, and at one point colliding with a light pole after leaving a downtown bar, having had too many. Strain later ended up in the Cumberland River. His body found 2 full weeks later. Tomorrow on Fox 17 News at 9, the simple fixes some say would make sure no one else is left alone like that and vulnerable.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a Putnam County duo is dead after a shootout with deputies in Texas. Investigators say the two were transporting more than $3 million worth of cocaine in a semi-truck. When sheriff's deputies in Texas tried to pull them over, deputies say the two got out and opened fire right away.
I'm Jeff Harris in Washington.
Tomorrow at 6 on Fox 17.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Homebuyers.
In health news tonight, a new report shows half of America's rural hospitals are now operating in the red. They're losing money.
Well, it's an issue that we've even seen here in the mid-state. Fox 17 News' Jeff Harris explains which areas are being hit the hardest.
In 2023, 43% of rural hospitals were operating in the red. That number then jumped to 50% this year, which means healthcare for millions of Americans could be in limbo.
We've been seeing a steady increase in the percent of rural hospitals that are losing money any given year.
According to a new report from healthcare consultancy Chartis, not only are 50% of rural hospitals in the financial red, 418 are vulnerable to closing down.
Well, 1 out of 2 rural hospitals, yeah, that really does make an impact.
To operate in the red means these hospitals are open and running while actively losing money. As for why, Holmes says there could be a number of reasons, including the way healthcare is now being delivered.
The things that used to be done on a 3-day inpatient stay a year ago can now be done on an outpatient, and so that's lower revenue.
The report found that Kansas, New York, Wyoming, Vermont, and Alabama are the states with the highest percentage of rural hospitals operating in the red. Utah is the only state where the percentage of rural hospitals in the red is less than 20%.
Obviously when your hospital's in the red, then there's more likelihood of closure. And so that has big implications when you don't have a hospital next door to access, when the next hospital might be another 2 hours away.
Now, as you heard Holmes mention, access to inpatient care has been a problem. The report found that 167 rural hospitals since 2010 have either closed or converted to a model that excludes inpatient care. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
I'm Kayla Gaskins. Coming up, Donald Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, takes the witness stand in his criminal trial in New York. Why this testimony is considered crucial to the case. And
the easy way.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Ponce Law.
A new report quantifies the effect of inflation on consumers trying to make ends meet. Nielsen IQ's 2024 Consumer Outlook reports the price for necessities like groceries and toiletries has risen 31% since 2019. The Daily Mail says 5 years ago, a shopper could put 32 items in their shopping cart for $100. Now it's 22 items. Inflation, one of the reasons why the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index has plunged this month, dropping 10 points from last month's to 67.4%, its lowest level in 6 months. Continued high prices from inflation and worries about jobs and interest rates dragging the index down. Now to the most magical place on earth. Disney announces the opening date of Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Walt Disney World. The ride was formerly Splash Mountain. Disney says it will begin taking guests on a musical adventure at Orlando's Magic Kingdom on June 28th. Florida-based cast members, annual pass holders, and eligible Disney Vacation Club members get to ride the new attraction first. Splash Mountain broke a Disney World record on its final day of operation in January of 2023. The ride opened in 1989 and was one of Disney's most recognized landmarks for decades. That's business. In New York, I'm CJ Papa, Fox News.
Well, earlier in our newscast, we told you about our X poll up and running, asking the question, should party buses and transportainment vehicles be allowed to operate during rush hour here in Nashville? And 80.3% of respondents say no. 19.7% say yes. That was out of almost 700 votes. Each night, look for a brand new poll on our X page that you can participate in. Thanks for voting. Well, continuing coverage of Donald Trump's hush money trial in New York. On the witness stand today, the former president's former personal attorney.
Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskin's here to break down exactly what Michael Cohen is saying about Mr. Trump and the women who claim to have had affairs with him.
He's the star witness for the prosecution.
Michael, what do you have to say to Donald Trump?
Michael Cohen taking the stand Monday, testifying against his former boss, Donald Trump.
He obviously is delivering what the prosecution wants delivered in this case.
Trump facing 34 counts of falsifying business records.
This trial is rigged. It's dishonest. It's a disgrace to New York. It's a disgrace to the country.
The allegations centering around a $130,000 hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in 2016. The money meant to keep her from running to the media with her story about a sexual encounter she had with Trump back in 2006.
Michael Cohen has the former president being directly involved in making sure that this story was not released to the public. So in that sense, he's delivering the motive to the jury.
Cohen made that payment to Daniels and was later reimbursed by Trump. The hush money payments themselves were not illegal, but the way this money was moved around and how much the president knew about the illegal methods which it was transferred is crucial to the case.
The crunch of Michael Cohen's testimony deals with the checks and the invoices. Was that set up in a way to keep it hidden from the public? And did the former president know about that? Michael Cohen's going to say he did know about it and that he was up to him. He worked with him closely on this.
Michael Cohen is a problematic witness for the prosecution. He has a history of lying under oath and went to prison for that charge and others relating to his work for Trump. A big question, will a jury find him to be credible now?
They're relying on people whose credibility has been torn to shreds in previous cases.
Michael Cohen will be back on the witness stand Tuesday for a highly anticipated cross-examination by the defense. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
In our Code Red Alert, as we track the potential for a few strong thunderstorms as we head through the day on Tuesday. One of the great ways that you can stay up to date is of course, our Fox 17 Code Red weather app. Make sure you have it on your phone. You can scan your QR code there, and it's free. That's what's great about the app there, and alerts you to severe weather and keeps you informed of what's going on as things are unfolding. Now, as far as tomorrow goes, it is a small threat. It's a level 1 out of 5 threat. Notice here, most of Middle Tennessee, all of Middle Tennessee, and most of Southern Kentucky here included in that threat. Wind and hail will be the primary concerns. Remember, level 1 threat here means that a few strong thunderstorms are possible. For perspective, last week we were in a 4 widespread severe thunderstorms possible. So again, this will be a smaller threat that we're concerned about, but it is still a threat. We want to make sure that you are aware of what's going on. Tomorrow morning, we will wake up to a pretty soggy start to the day. I do expect showers and probably a few thunderstorms around. The chance for severe weather, though, remains quite low for the morning hours here. So widespread showers and a few rumbles. As we get into the afternoon, this would be the time frame that we're looking for the potential for severe weather. mainly after lunchtime into the early evening hours, about 5, 6 o'clock. In the evening hours there. So as far as threats go, wind, hail, and the potential for some spot flooding is around. Normally we wouldn't really be concerned with maybe a ½ inch to 1 inch of rainfall, but it has been so wet over the past several days that it's possible we could see a few areas with some spot flooding. So let's walk you through future track here as we go through the overnight. Generally quiet until we get into about 3, 4 a.m. Here is that first batch of rain. Some intense rainfall will be possible, and it could lead to a few thunderstorms as well. But again, severe weather, that'll come later in the day as we head through the late morning. You can see that first batch clears, and we're left with a few showers here developing as we head into the afternoon. So this is lunchtime. After that, we'll need to be monitoring a couple of these showers here for gusts of wind and maybe some small hail too. A little bit better chance here as the threat shifts east to 65 by about 4 or 5 p.m. Again, scattered in activity. You may or may not see showers and storms in the afternoon. Should remain scattered throughout the day. I think the better chance of widespread rain will come in the morning hours with scattered activity for the afternoon. 8 o'clock, you can see that showers start to swing out, and we're left with cloudy skies to start the day on Wednesday, but we'll continue to see a chance for showers around. No severe weather for Wednesday, but at least some rain as we head through Wednesday afternoon and evening. Good ½ inch to 1 inch of rain is possible. Some areas may see a little bit more. And again, normally we wouldn't be too concerned about that, but it's been so wet, so soggy over the past several days that some spot flooding could be possible. So that is something we want to keep an eye on. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. You notice temperatures in the 70s the next few days. Low 80s for Thursday and Friday. In fact, Thursday, one of our only dry days of the week. So an active pattern for us with showers and storms that continue Friday and right into the weekend.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Large hail pounded southeast Texas over the weekend. Some stones were as big as baseballs and tennis balls, and there's a threat for more severe storms through tonight. 2 waterspouts were spotted along the Gulf Coast, one in Pensacola, Florida, and the other in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And this aurora shot from Virginia looks like they just engaged warp speed.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
You can see more weather stories like this every weekday morning on the National Weather Desk starting at 8 a.m. on our sister station, MyTV 30.
Adjustable mattress sets, including the all-new Temper-Adapt for better sleep and savings. Shop Ashley today.
The Champions Wildcard competition continues on Jeopardy!
This week on Full Measure, Cheryl Atkinson is sitting down with the head of the group that's pushing states like Tennessee to amend the U.S. Constitution.
Well, their goal is to dial back on what supporters see as federal government overreach. At least 34 states need to pass resolutions in order to hold a convention.
How short are you right now in numbers?
We're at 19 states, so past halfway. We have 15 states to go.
Are there any states on the precipice, do you think, of passing these resolutions?
Yeah, I mean, at this moment, I think the state that's right there is North Carolina. North Carolina has a 2-year session, a little bit unusual. We passed the House last year, so it's just the Senate this year. I think we're going to get that done. I think that'll be the 20th state.
In general, aren't about half the states considered sort of Democrat heavy and half the states considered more Republican heavy?
Right now, the numbers, 29 states have both legislatures controlled by Republicans, both houses of the legislature.
So a little more than half.
A little more than half are Republican or conservative, but we're finding an interesting trend in the last couple of years, and I would say right now, which we're finding a bunch of Democrats coming on as sponsors. We have one of our lead sponsors in Pennsylvania is a Democrat. I think we now have 6 or 7 lead sponsors in Illinois are Democrats. And the reason is the things that we're asking for are not partisan. We're saying balance your budget. About 85% of Americans think that. We're saying that the federal government does too much. Whatever we think that they do too much of, almost everybody agrees they do too much. People believe in term limits, like everybody's frustrated with Congress. So it's really not a partisan thing. People try to make it a partisan thing, and you know, I'm a conservative guy, so people will see it that way, and a lot of our supporters are. But it's definitely, actually, when you look at the actual process and end result of a convention of states, not partisan at all.
So someone might say, or looking at this, there's no way you're ever going to get that many states. Do you think there is a realistic chance in your lifetime?
I absolutely do, or I wouldn't be dedicating my life to it. I mean, literally, this is what I've been doing for the last 10 years, is what I'm going to do as long as it takes. And I think not only is it realistic, we have to remember we're a country that has always done the impossible. We actually thrive on doing the impossible. When we fought the Revolutionary War, lots of people looked at that and said, England, there's no way, that's an empire, you can't beat them, you're not going to survive as a country after the revolution. So I think we've overcome the odds a lot of times. And I think that we're at a really serious inflection point in American history. We're at a point no republic's ever survived this long. And the question is, are we going to survive? Are we going to beat the odds? Are we going to go the course of all other republics? And I really don't see another way for us to survive. The country's coming apart. We all acknowledge that. We all feel it. You and I have talked about that. It's a personal thing with me and people who I would say maybe used to be my friends. We're seeing it in politics. So the question is, how do we fix that? This is the only way I know to fix that. This country is founded on the basis of federalism, and federalism is a government designed for people who don't really like each other. And the colonies didn't really like each other, the original states didn't like each other, so limited amount of things that we do together, and most of the things we go out into our own states and do on our own, and that reduces the conflict.
Now, to find out more, you can watch a replay of Cheryl's story on this topic. That's at fullmeasure.news. And you can check out her podcast, Full Measure, After Hours, and watch new episodes of Full Measure every Sunday morning at 7:30 here on Fox 17.
It is one of the fastest growing sports for good reason. I'm Liz Bonus. Why you should play pickleball, just for the health of it.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. There is new research showing potential home buyers in America, get this, have lost nearly $500 million to scammers. We're going to tell you what experts say you should look out for to avoid becoming a victim. Don't miss this story. It's Tuesday on Fox 17 News This Morning. I'll see you then.
Let us do the talking for you. Call us at 615-242-9000.
In your health news tonight, the USA Pickleball Association says its membership is up 1,000% in the last decade.
Yeah, big numbers by any measure. Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus tonight sharing some of the ways the game can help you stay well.
Hey there, everybody. Hello to you. It is one of the fastest growing sports in the country for good reason. Pickleball has powerful health benefits, many say for body and soul.
Pickleball is often described as tennis, badminton, and ping pong all in one sport.
I'd like to play more than I do. I mean, I'm lucky to play twice a week.
Those such as Michael Schwartz, who love it, say one of the top health benefits?
It's just important to be active and to move.
Not only is it a great cardio workout, it burns up to 600 calories an hour. That's enough to lose a pound a week if you don't up your eating.
It's been around for quite a few years, but over the last couple of years, it's really exploded.
Second health benefit, it is kinder and gentler to the elbows, knees, and ankles than some other sports.
Pickleball, it's easier on your joints. You know, you can still get injured. You have to be careful. You've still got to train, and I think exercise if you want to continue to play at a high level. But it's easier on your joints.
Third reason it's good for you?
It really doesn't discriminate against age and gender.
Just about anyone at any age can play. You set the pace.
Typically, a person plays from anywhere between an hour and 2 hours.
Finally, those hours are social hours too. Good for reducing stress and improving socialization.
You play it a lot closer together versus a sport like tennis. So it can be very fun, it can be very social, and really once people try it, they tend to get addicted and want to come back and play a lot.
Don't underestimate that socialization benefit. Socialization has now been linked to a lot less loneliness, a lot less depression, which in turn appears to help fight memory problems and even Alzheimer's disease. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
Going to be a busy day tomorrow, I think. We'll look for showers at least for the morning hours, but the main severe threat comes in the afternoon, about 12 noon to about 6 p.m. in the afternoon hours here. Wind and hail will be the primary concerns there. This should be isolated. We're not looking at a lot of